Ace of Spades is an example. That was the most difficult, it was the greatest and worst thing to ever happen to me, selling a brand. It's like selling a child. Well, Rick is different because there's no one else like him. He can make anything cool.
When you figure out what you want to do, how do you start? What was your blueprint like?
I say this, I think there's two types of people in this world. One, they know exactly what they want to do and they go do it. And if that is amazing, God bless them. I think for someone like me, I had lots of ideas, and my mistake was I never picked anything. Right now, I'm pushing Africa. Like, I think Afrobeats is the next thing. I'm talking to every African artist. I'm introducing them to every artist we know in the US. Life teaches you about business, which teaches you about life. And this is when he got in trouble too, in Atlanta. And I showed up at the courthouse, and no one was there except his mom and his sister. It just made me realize, like, the goal of life is when bad shit happens, who's there?
Yeah, what up, your boy Fernando, aka Mr. Good Vibes Only. Real talk with a real professional. This man has been in the game for many years. You've seen him around the way. He's a self-made businessman. He's a passionate person. I've seen him all over the place with Rick Ross. You see him doing his own podcast, Self-Made. I'm telling you, he's self-made. He's the guy that also worked with Jay-Z, and Jay-Z got Ace of Spades. They did it together. Jay-Z bought it from him. We're going to talk about it later. We're going to talk about his new passion. He got a new drink out, the Deacon. So much information, but I want to get to know this person, man. I want to get to know him. I've seen him on television. I've seen him on all the podcasts out there. So if you want to get knowledge on business, on how to get your brand out there, how to advertise in a creative way, how to set up your personal ideas and make it into a world brand, this man is a man right here. Brett Berish, how you doing, Brett? How you doing?
You can intro me anytime. You can intro me anytime. I'm fantastic. I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, great to have you here, man. Like, you're the head of Sovereign Brands.
Yes.
And for the people that don't know, could you like take us through the whole thing? Because you have a lot of brands under you.
Yeah. So if you know my brands, Ace of Spades, ARMAND De Brignac was my first. My second brand is Douce Cognac, which is in the US, a huge brand. Belaire with the black bottle, Belaire, which is competes in the champagne category. Bamboo Rum, number one premium rum in the world, and we got a new one we just launched called the Deacon.
Yeah, Scottish.
It's a whiskey. It's a whiskey from Scotland.
Yeah.
But I'm in the don't get me wrong, and if you talk about music or anything else, I'm in the liquor business. That's my business.
Yeah, you're in the liquor business.
I'm in the liquor business.
You've been doing this for years.
Yes.
You have a financial background.
Yes.
But your dad has been very active in this business.
I grew up in the industry, I like to say. My dad was 45 years at one liquor company. I never worked in it. I could say this about lots of people. You end up loving what your family did. Yeah. And I loved what he did, and I loved brands, and I always wanted to do something.
Yeah. But you're a person that you have a lot of ideas.
Yes,
you have ideas about everything, and it took a while for you to like really choose one path.
100%.
What was the thing that was so concise or consistent with just doing this? Like, you have all these ideas, but what made you like bring it down and just focus on this one?
I think, well, I say this. I think there's two types of people in this world. One, they know exactly what they want to do and they go do it. And if that is amazing, God bless them. I think for someone like me, I had lots of ideas, and my mistake was I never picked anything. And I went around, kept asking everybody, what do you think? Should I do this? Yeah. What do you think of this? And it's the biggest mistake people make. You just got to go fucking do it. Yeah. Just go do it. And for me, I just got tired of not doing anything, not picking something. And I decided, okay, I'm going to do this industry. I like this industry. I want to do it. But I can say this now. I honestly believe I would have been good at anything I chose.
Why is that?
Based on what I know now, I'll just go and do it. Yeah. And if you focus on something and just go put your heart and your soul, and if you love it, you're going to be successful. You're going to get there. So but for me, boy, I like what I'm doing so much. I'm just going to keep doing it. So I didn't have to do anything else.
Yeah.
There was nothing else that I wanted to do.
And the thing that entrepreneurs often have, like when you figure out what you want to do, how do you start? What was your blueprint? Like just doing it. Like could you take us like to the first step?
The hardest part is just picking something.
Mm-hmm.
You know, for me it was just picking something to focus on and stop questioning. That was the hardest part. I think the second thing that I had in my favor, which I think is important, is I had my brother with me.
Okay.
So having somebody else there with you doing it, just supporting you and you're on your way, I think that's important.
And what was his role in the company?
We're completely different people. But he runs, we run it, it's a business. We don't think of it as a family business. He runs the US and I run the company and then run all non-US business.
Okay.
But I think, I almost want to answer it differently. I think my success came after I stopped rushing, where I assumed things happen fast. It's going to be easy.
Yeah.
You know, it's going to happen quickly. And I think that's a mistake almost everybody makes, because it doesn't happen fast. It's not easy and it's going to be hard. I just assumed it was easy. But my first few years just sucked. It was terrible.
Yeah.
Terrible.
How so?
I describe it as everything I do now is based on my first few years, which is the opposite. I trust my gut. I trust my instincts. I assumed in the beginning, you know, if you're in the business, you're smarter than me. You've been doing it longer than me. I should listen to you. When I did, you know, with Belaire, our champagne brand, everyone told me when I was going to launch it and launching it, you can't compete with Moet. You're launching a rosé and not a brut. You need to do brut. You put it in a black bottle. It'll never compete. It won't be successful. The younger Brett would have changed it all.
Yeah.
You know what? You're right. I shouldn't put it in a black bottle.
Was it younger Brett insecure or maybe more?
I think it could be insecure. It's lacking confidence, not trusting myself, not trusting my instincts. So today my view is the opposite. If anybody's going to fuck it up, I need it to be me.
Yeah, that's the best way, man.
I want the responsibility.
Yeah,
and I think if you take ownership, you have no choice. You're all in. You're all in. I think I have a new saying, not a new saying, but I believe this. I think sometimes not having a plan is a great plan.
Yeah, just going after it. I think
just put it out there and then you'll figure it out. You know, then you'll learn. It's like kids. I have 6 kids. They're all different in different ways, but you don't know what you have until you just put them out in the world and see what they're good at. This one loves piano. This one hates piano. This one loves sports. This one so you just you got to learn by what you see out there.
It's a great analogy also for business, because like you're in the liquor business, it's also like your own kids. Like you have to like micromanage.
What you just said is what I live. And I think that's the mistake people make is, so someone asked me, you know, what's next? Well, what's next is what I'm currently doing. So Belaire to me is like a teenager.
Yeah.
You know, it can do its things on its own, but I still got to watch out for it. You know, Bamboo is 5 years old now. It's our rum. It's the #1 premium rum in the world. It's like in middle school. You know, I still have to watch it. I still have to do things to it. And then Deacon is a baby. You got to micromanage the shit out of that because it's just like a baby. It's going to fall down. You got to dress it right. You got to make sure it looks right. But to me, it's amazing how I use my family as an analogy for business. And every day I think of it that way.
Smart.
Every day I think about it that way.
And you working with your brother, did you have to convince him to start your own liquor brand? How was the startup?
It was picking something. I said, I wanted to do this. Let's go. And he said, okay, let's do it.
And what's the step 2? Because like I also, like say for instance, I also want to put out my brand. I'm Brett. I'm like, I want to do this. Where do we get the funding? Where do we get the bottling? Where do you start?
You just go.
Yeah.
You just go and you're figuring it out as you go. There's no, you know, for me, with my brands, it all starts with the liquid.
Yeah.
It's taste. If I'm going to introduce a new brand, it has to taste better than the competition I'm going after. I will not introduce it if I don't believe in it. I can't do it. I could have the greatest package and the greatest marketing in the world. I won't do it. The liquid's got to be amazing. So I drink the category. And then if I can figure out how to make it better, I want to do it. And then I start building around it and building the story and what's going to look like, what's going to feel like, how it's going to communicate, what's the style. It's a person. It's a living thing. But it starts with a passion for what you're doing. And I think, in many ways, look at all in my industry, look at all the celebrities jumping in, right?
Yeah.
So many celebrities have their own liquor brands, but none of them are working.
Why do you think that it doesn't work for everybody?
Because they're not in it. They're half in, they're half pregnant. They're not committed. If it fails, they don't care. If it fails for me, it's my whole life.
Yeah.
It's everything I do. I can't let it go down. I have to live and breathe it and build people who live and breathe it. So it's passion. It's pure passion. It's love. It's emotion.
And you also, but like that's the most important part. Like the passion, I believe that you can have all the money in the world, but if you lack the passion, it's
100%.
never going to work. So 100%. I think
100%.
that's the thing that you just said with a lot of people that want to be in the liquor business. They want to get the money, the dividends, the profits, but they're not invested in the feeling.
100%. And I'll give you another example of what I went, because I like telling the shitty side of getting there. But I remember I had investors. I brought in investors, and we had a board call because they wanted to wind up the company. They wanted to stop because they didn't believe in it. They didn't think it was going to go. It wasn't going to work. And I remember calling my mom. I was in New York. I was in Soho. I called my mother, and she's my hero. She's my rock.
Yeah.
She's been in my corner. And she says, Brett, I'll sell all my rings for you to put it back in the business. And I said, I'll figure this out. But I realized something. I love what I'm doing. And I don't need a lot of money. If I can just make enough money just to live, I'm happy. I'm happy. And I think I needed to go through that to realize, boy, it's not about money. It's not about some massive success. It's just about being happy with what you're doing. And from that point on, it just got easier because I'm now realizing it's for me. It's I believe in something. It's not, there's no rush to get there. You got to go through the steps. You got to go through, and that's what I've been doing ever since.
Wow. And like, you have a lot of people that like, they're maybe passionate as well to maybe also start a liquor company, but they don't have the finance. What would your advice be to them? Like,
to me, finance is a relative thing.
How come?
Because to me, and people ask me that, I'll have people come to me with business plans and ideas. I want to launch in the US. Okay, well, how much money do you have? What do you want to do? What do you want to accomplish? It's all relative to the sense of, it's like an allowance. You can only spend what you have.
Yeah.
So to me, I think of everything as starting small.
How did you start with? How much money did you have like when you started out?
Oh, God, it's been so long now. Well, I mean, we put a ton of money in, and then we raised a bunch of money, and then we lost a bunch of money. Yeah. And then I had to mortgage my house to put it all in. Wow. And then I stopped paying the IRS and then the tax authority put more money in. But for me, it was, I used to, there are some people who can grow a business where they don't care about being profit. It's like the internet companies.
Yeah.
They're all unprofitable, right?
Yeah.
And they assume they'll get there. I can't act like that. I can't do that. That's not me. I need to be profitable. So I need to walk first before I run.
Yeah.
So everything to me is, I need to make money so that I can survive another day.
True.
Mentality. So to me, it's all, what do you want to be when you grow up? What do you want to do? Like, to me, the amount of money is all relative to what's realistic for you. What do you want to accomplish? If you want to launch a brand and be all through Europe, you're going to need a lot of money. You're going to have to go try to raise a lot of money.
How do you like, if you want to educate people, like how do you raise money? Do you call people? Do you network and get like? Is that hard? Is that
so? I'm the worst person to ask with this because once I bought out, I ended up buying out my investors.
Okay,
I bought them out.
Why did you do that?
Because they didn't believe in it.
Okay,
they didn't believe in it.
Yeah,
and I don't want to be around people, but that experience made me make the decision. I don't want investors. So I'd rather grow slower. You know what I mean? Then try to raise money to try to grow faster, but to have people who potentially don't believe.
Yeah.
So I made the decision to grow slower. I made the decision to do it slower. So Ace of Spades is an example. That was the most difficult. It was the greatest and worst thing to ever happen to me, selling a brand. It's like selling a child.
Yeah.
But I sold it because now I have money. And now I can do all these other brands I want to do. So sometimes you can, it's like cutting off your arm and now you're stronger.
Because how did that start? Because like we read about it, but I like to hear from the horse's mouth itself. Like, how did it like start and how did you get connected with Jay-Z and him?
It's all the same with you could mention Lil Wayne, you could mention DJ Khaled, Wiz, Wayne, anybody. I love the music industry. I love hip hop. I believe in leaning in on people when they support you. If they support you, I want to lean in with them and see how I can support them. So all the people you mentioned, Jay, I met them because of the brands. They like the brands. They consume the brands. They want to be involved with the brands. It's all the same. And for me, it starts with the first brand. And the first brand was Ace. And then the second brand and the third. And it's gotten bigger, but it's still the same philosophy. I'm out there selling the brands myself. I'm out there trying to find people who believe in the brands. Because that's what any brand and anything you do, you got to find believers.
Yeah.
It just takes one. And then you got to find the next one and the next one. And that can be people it could be retailers, it could be bars and restaurants, it could be buyers, it could be people in the music industry, people who believe. And we've built a culture. And our culture is relevant. It's young. The brands mean something to people. So what I'm preaching now is the same thing I would have said 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 15 years ago. Nothing's changing.
Because when we look at the bottle of Ace of Spades, like it has a very particular and special type of design. What was the idea behind that design and to make it that way? Because it was your first baby.
Correct. This will sound strange. What all my brands have in common, no one believes in them. No one believes in them in the industry. They don't look like anything else. They don't speak like anything else. They taste a little different. They're different. And what happens is when something's different, it's almost like it's a shock to the system. That's not going to work. And what I realized is I can't be like everybody else. I don't know what it's like to be Diageo or Pernod or all these other big companies. Yeah. I can only be me. I can't pretend to be them. I can't act like them. I can only act like me. So all my brands, they look a little different. There's a different type of story to it. I think the taste is better than everybody else's. And then it's about finding believers who believe in it. And the way I think about brand building is, it's like me. I don't want brands to be forced on me. I don't want to be told what to do. I want to feel like I'm discovering something for myself. I discovered these pants. I discovered these necklaces. I discovered things. And I think that's my type of consumer, where they're taking ownership themselves. I'm not advertising to them. I'm not forcing it on them. I'm not telling them what to do. And to me, that's couture. That's culture. It's every great artist, someone's discovered them. It's not because they were built in a shop, and they were launched to the world. Every great street designer, there's a group of people who got behind them, and they're in the know. They're the next thing. They're building it, and that's what we're trying to do.
Yeah, because like every product and thing you make has an idea to it. Like looking at Ace of Spades? Were you playing cards or something?
It's a little. One, I wanted the bottle to be different. The gold is different, and half the world would look at that and be like, "Oh shit, man, that's too much." That doesn't look cool. The other, I remember with Ace, one of the biggest writers. She writes for the Financial Times. Jancis Robinson, who's a famous wine critic, she wouldn't drink it.
Why?
Because she didn't like the bottle.
Oh, wow.
But that sucks. Yeah. Like, just because it looks that way, come on. Then there was a famous wine critic who tasted it and loved it. So then she's like, okay, if she likes it, I'm going to go try it. Favorite champagne.
Yeah.
So it
has a unique name. That's why I'm always curious to hear what the story is behind a name and the brand, because everything is.
But brand, to me, it's most people don't even know Armand de Brignac and Ace of Spades are the same thing. Like, the name of the brand is Armand de Brignac.
Yeah,
that's the name. The nickname it's just a nickname, Ace of Spades. It doesn't say Ace of Spades. It's just the logo's on there. So to me, branding is important. I want it to be. All my brands, I think, are a powerful symbol. It means something. The X on bamboo, the Deacon, the mask, and this Burning Man feel. Belaire, that shield and the name is so strong. Like, I think identity is important.
It was almost Luc, and then your wife came with Belaire, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's all. But the beauty is it's trusting instincts.
Yeah.
Because it's not created by a consulting firm. We don't do, focus groups and testing. And we think this is great. Other people really like it. That's enough. And we're going to go out and sell it. So I don't try to overthink it. And I think everyone does. I think everyone makes
feel something and you just
go do it.
But how do you know in the liquor business as a creator when it's successful? Do you look at the number it sells?
Oh, it's a good question. Again, it's to me. I just said this yesterday. Success to me is, are you happy? I'll say to a bar or restaurant or retailer, are you happy with the brand? That's success. If he says, yes, I am, I'm on my way.
Okay.
It's not numbers. Because as long as they're happy, we're going to grow. That's success.
You're selling the feeling. You want the feeling to be there because the feeling is going to generate revenue either way. If the feeling is good, that's going to pay off.
Correct.
Either way. Yeah.
But I think the mistake people make, again, I'm not looking for it fast. I don't want it fast. I think if you set the expectation so high, you'll never live up to it.
Yeah.
It'll never happen. It never does. But for me, I set the expectations are, as long as my importer is happy, my distributor is happy, my wholesaler is happy, my retailer is happy, we're on our way. Because I'm looking for the same thing when I talk about, consumer. I don't want to force it on them. If you're a retailer and I sell you Deacon or I sell you Bamboo, if you don't think you can sell it, don't take it. I don't want to force it. Yeah. You have to feel good about this brand, and I'm excited to go sell it to somebody else. I want to talk about it with somebody else. So I think the younger Brett wouldn't have done that. There's no way. I would have done just the opposite.
And was it the young Brett that sold Ace of Spades? And would the older Brett not sell it?
No, because again, it's like you asking me, how much money does it take? I didn't have all. If I had all the money in the world, I would never sold anything.
Yeah. But was that the reason why you sold? Because you really needed the capital to fund your other stuff?
Because I could get bigger now.
Okay.
I couldn't launch Belaire. I couldn't launch Bamboo. I couldn't launch Deacon. I couldn't do all these other things. And you got to make, it's a tough decision. But I went from 30 people to 200 people now in the company. We're in 80, 90 countries. So it's part of life, it's, for me, it was because I didn't want to raise money, because I didn't want to bring in investors.
Because if you had done that, then you wouldn't have had to sell Ace of Spades if you had brought in investors.
I wouldn't I don't know. I wouldn't have, but I don't know if I would have been happy either.
Okay. And you chose your happiness, and then you had to like.
You gotta.
Very interesting, because I don't think like people, because in my mind it's like, well, it's like wanting to sell your first royalties from your first record, your first album that made you successful. I remember Jay-Z, he was very adamant about getting the rights to his first album. And now, later I understood, oh yeah, because that's the most, and so when you said it feels like on one hand, giving away your kid, selling your first brand.
Yeah, it's the most, because your life is in it.
Yeah.
Your life is in it. It's like Taylor Swift talking about when Scooter Braun, it's like, that's my life there, and somebody, so again, this is why I like the music space so much when it comes to hip hop, is an artist, there's so many people involved in that decision process. Just go, and you're in a much better situation. Just go do it. Yeah. Just go do it. Know?
But how powerful is the hip hop connection with your brand? Because it seems like a lot of rappers, they're always popping bottles and video clips. It's like it's like a synergy. Like, I don't drink alcohol, but people around me drink alcohol, they smoke, but I don't judge people. But I've seen a lot of my favorite artists, like Rick Ross, like Lil Wayne, like they have the bottles and stuff. Is that part of the success of a lot of liquor brands, even yours? That synergy, like hip hop music connected with
I there's no question, but I think there's two ways to look at it. One is, it was an accident for the brand, and that brand never expected it to have an impact. For me, I'm leaning in on it. I want to work with these people. I want to be involved. I want to do things with Rick. I want to do things with Wayne. I want to do things with Wiz, with Khaled, with Jay. So to me, we're making a decision that we're going to lean in on this, and we're going to support them. We're going to help. We're going to do anything we can. So right now, I was asked earlier about the music industry, and right now I'm pushing Africa. Like, I think Afrobeats is the next thing. I'm talking to every African artist. I'm introducing them to every artist we know in the US. I want to help them. I want to build that relationship. I want those connections.
It's a big market, man, Africa.
Oh, it's huge. But we're making that decision of, I'm going to lean in on this.
Yeah.
I want to do things. We have an artist, Chaco, who put a hook in for Belaire. He just did me a huge solid. We're in this song. It's called Self-Made. The Belaire's the hook. This is great. So I could have taken the choice of, you know what? Thank you, and walk away. But no, let's approach him. Let's do something with them. Let's support him.
Yeah.
So he's gone from 400,000 followers on Instagram to 1.2 million.
Wow.
Just because our network supported him.
Yeah. So on social media.
100%.
Wow.
Everybody's supporting him.
And how do you build like the relationships? Because like a lot of times when people, like when brands approach me, they'll be like, hey, can you promote this for me? It's some money. How does it work in the liquor business? Do you first build a relationship before you talk money?
So I can't answer it from the liquor business. I can only answer it
for
from
you.
The way I look at it is, and I don't want a transaction. I want a relationship. And there's a huge difference. So to me, if I'm convincing you to be involved with the brand, again, it goes back to that same retailer, that same buyer. It's not going to work, because that's not what this is about. So Rick was drinking Belaire for years before we did anything. Khaled was drinking it for years. Wayne loved Bamboo. It's all about that they love the brands, and how can I help and support them too? We'll shoot music videos for them. We'll let them use our recording studios. We'll support them like Chaco in Africa. We'll support. If we both are doing the same thing and helping each other, it's a win for everybody.
Yeah.
That's what we're doing.
I thought, like, before I knew anything about Belaire, I saw Rick Ross pushing it. I was like, oh, he got his own brand. He was pushing it like it was his own brand. Is he?
Because he's an owner. Because he's
part owner of.
He is. Well, Rick is different because there's no one else like him. He can make anything cool. But it's you said you don't drink, so I'll give you a great example. Gucci Mane, when we announced Belaire Blue, Gucci was he launched it.
Yeah.
Gucci doesn't drink, but it's not about drinking. The brand means something. It's like having a watch that doesn't work, but it's a Rolex.
Yeah.
You don't care. It's still a Rolex.
Yeah.
It's a brand. You want to be associated. You want to be seen. The brand means something.
Yeah.
That's, it's more than just liquor. That's what I want with our brands.
Yeah.
It's more than a consumption. I can't tell you how many people I've heard. I remember I had my first bottle of Belaire.
Yeah.
Think about that.
Yeah.
It's a strange, wonderful thing. They remember when they had their first bamboo. They remember Ace. They remember those moments. That's the goal. Be bigger than a brand. Be bigger than a category. It's just a brand.
Yeah. And because it seems like every time you're building and setting up new brands, is that the creator, and you're like, okay, I got these 4 successful, 6 successful, 7. Let me see if I can do 8. Let me see if I can get 9.
It's if you asked me 20 years ago, I would have said the same thing today, which is I just want to do, if I can come out with a better brand, I want to try it.
Okay.
That's it. If I can think of a better brand and a way to do it that's better than somebody I want to compete against, I want to do it.
Yeah.
But nothing's changed. Nothing's changed.
And I also saw, because how I saw of bamboo, because I don't drink, so I saw Lil Wayne with it. I was like, okay, easy. Yeah.
But think about this is a guy who lives in the studio, doesn't promote anything. He skates and he records.
Yeah.
Nothing else. And to me, and I got a big chip on my shoulder. I have a huge, because as everyone's told me it's not going to work, and everyone's a doubter. There's always somebody. And I remember when Wayne really wanted to do something. He loved bamboo. He really wanted to do something. And everyone's telling me, don't work with them. Don't work with them. Because this was right in the middle tail end of the whole young baby situation. Yeah. He hadn't put out any music.
Yeah.
No, you shouldn't do anything with Wayne. And if you tell me not to do it, I want to do it.
Yeah.
I want to do it. So fuck that. I want Wayne. Yeah. I want him because I think he's going to come out and crush it. I think he's going to own it. I think he's going to do great. I like that. I want to be the underdog.
But it's also like maybe what I found interesting is that bamboo has like a Barbados story behind it. What's the story? Like say for instance, do you wake up and be like, I want to do something that's from Barbados?
No,
I want to. How does that?
It happens with all the same things. So, bamboo. There's a taste profile I wanted. I wanted this certain profile, and I don't care where it comes from because to me it's all about taste. And we ended up finding a distillery in Barbados, which I didn't even know at the time. Barbados is the original rum island. That's where I didn't know it either. And I'm in the business.
Yeah.
And I think, wow, what an amazing story. It didn't come from Cuba. It didn't come from Puerto Rico. It didn't come from the French. It's Barbados. And then we learned that they don't have to filter water in Barbados because the island acts as a natural aquifer. It filters itself. So the water's fresh. And then we realized, we brought our wine knowledge and found that different sugarcane acts differently. So we ended up distilling 8 different sugar canes. And we ended up getting this wonderful, creamy, if 8 people tasted it, you'd have different answers and taste profile. And Barbados chose us. Yeah. So a different example is we've got another expression of bamboo called bamboo XO. With bamboo XO, I wanted the opposite of bamboo original. Bamboo XO, I wanted something that tasted like a big fat cigar.
Okay.
Or dark chocolate.
Yeah.
Barbados couldn't do it. The rum that they produce was not it. We ended up in Panama. It's one specific sugar cane from Panama, aged up to 18 years, and we finish it in ex-sherry barrels. So to me, it's the idea of it's whatever's the best. That's what I want. I don't care where it comes from, but whatever's the best. And in this case, it's Barbados for one and Panama for the other.
Wow. Seems like a lot of hard work, man. Like
it's like a puzzle.
Yeah, like it's a lot because like now that bamboo's working and now you got the deacon. Okay, but do you still focus on bamboo or do you like put more focus in deacon because it's a baby? And do you still talk to the 5-year-old bamboo? I don't know. Like how do you? Yeah,
I have a saying because I got in trouble for it. You never don't leave your kids in the car if you go into Starbucks. You got to bring them all in.
Yeah.
Because you're getting in trouble. So it's the same thing. I'm selling a family. If you go to a retail store and you'll see, Belaire in the champagne section, you'll see Bamboo in the rum section, you'll see Deacon in the whiskey section, but on the floor, they're all together.
Okay.
So we're selling, a family of brands. You may not, I'm using you as an example. Maybe you don't like champagne, but you love rum. Maybe you know Belaire, but now you love Bamboo. So my goal is I want to keep the brands are growing up together.
Yeah.
They're growing up. One's a teenager, one's a toddler, one's a baby, but they're growing up together. They're from the same family.
And will you ever do something out of the liquor business? Like maybe like more health drinks or something, or like your own water? Like let's go to Barbados and find some water.
Yeah, I think as my mother gave me a pillow that says, when the mood moves you, move with it.
Yeah.
That's how I feel. If it's something I'm really, it's a couple things. If I'm really interested, yes, but I'm also realized, and this is the mistake people make, is I've spent so much time in this industry. This is where forget money. This is where my knowledge is most. So if I'm going to do something else in a completely different industry where I've got to learn something all over again, that's a lot of, it's starting completely over. Even if it's close to it, it's still starting over. So to me, I spent so much time. I want to keep focusing on this because I've made so many mistakes and I've had so much success and I can leverage both of those.
Yeah. Okay. Because I was wondering, I was like, if you're so successful with this, maybe branch out and do also different stuff. Because a lot of people are like in the health and
I'm going to do it because I'm passionate about it. If it's just for doing its sake, I can't do it.
Yeah.
If I don't believe in it, I can't do it.
Yeah.
Like I could see us doing things in music. It's going to happen.
Okay. Like what?
Having our own label.
Yeah.
I can see because we're already, but my own label is more about, it's not about owning an artist. It's about just getting an artist up and going. We've got the network of artists where we can put them together. We can film it. We can do everything for them. But it's trying to help artists get to that next level.
Yeah.
It's not about, I want to sign somebody and own them for life. No, I want to give them 1 or 2 records that I know we can help them with.
Yeah.
And get them going.
That's a good marketing also for the company.
Sure, of course, we'll benefit from it. But to me, it's a natural, because we're already doing everything.
Yeah.
We already know who they are and we already support them. So it's connecting the dots. So I like things like that.
Okay. I didn't know you were that heavily involved in music. I knew like the collaborations with the artists that we know, like Rick Ross, Khaled, and Jay-Z, but I didn't know you were also highly invested in videos. And
so many artists, and it could be just letting them use our studio. It could be them being close to the brands and involved with the brands. It could be recording sessions. It could listening sessions. It doesn't matter, but we're doing so many things in those areas, and I think I can add value by not wanting to own them.
Yeah,
like a label would.
Yeah, you'll sign a different contract. We're just helping out.
I don't care. That's why in many, and we've had people approach us, but they don't want to, meaning from a label side, but that's not their MO. They want to own for life.
Yeah.
I don't want to do that. I just want to help an artist get to the next level.
Yeah.
I think it's awesome. Think about the people that I've interviewed or talked to or been involved with our brands. Post Malone, he had one song. G Herbo, A Boogie, Ski Mask, Lotto. So many people that we were, and I pride myself on that.
Yeah.
That we're talking to, that we're getting them to talk to other people, that we're connecting, and they get to move up the ladder and be bigger than that.
Wow, amazing. And you still have good contacts with them, you call them. So your birthday party must be fun. You're getting all of these guys on your birthday party.
Yeah,
Gotta give
again,
me an invitation.
I don't want a transaction. I want a relationship.
Yeah, that's the best thing. Because I like the part where when Rick Ross mentioned that when he had a hospital situation, that a lot of people, they weren't there. They were like,
oh my God.
And you were.
No, but again, I think life teaches you about business, which teaches you about life.
Yeah.
And I remember in this case, Ross, and this is when he got in trouble too, in Atlanta. And I showed up at the courthouse and no one was there except his mom and his sister. No one showed up.
That's crazy.
I went and visited him in jail and looking, behind no one, like, it just made me realize, like, the goal of life is when bad shit happens, who's there? I want to be the guy who's there for other people. Like, I want that. I want to be I remember, it's a different example, but it's a good one. I remember Kodak Black. I was in a car with my friends, taking my friend's daughter and her friends back to their house. And she's like, Brett, listen to the song. It's got Belaire in it. I'm like, what? And it's a song called Patty Cake by Kodak. Yeah. And I had never heard of Kodak. And I'm like, this is amazing. And I called the office and I'm like, we got to get in touch with this guy because he just did us a solid. We're in this song. And then my team tells me he's in jail. I'm like, well, this is nuts. So then I got in touch with his attorney. I went down to Florida. I went and saw Kodak in jail because I want to help the guy. Like,
how did you help him then? Like,
well, I was there for him.
Yeah.
Again, I'm giving him advice. I want anything I could possibly do. Why? Because he put us in a song. And most people wouldn't do that. I don't want to be most people.
Yeah, I feel you. Yeah.
It's like, come on, the guy helped.
Yeah.
The guy helped.
I feel you on that one. It says a lot about you because I also, in the radio industry, I like sometimes when some artists had like run-ins with the law, I call him up. One of the artists, I visited him, went to went to the courtroom. But I never knew that stuff stuck with them. Like, and a few moments after that, it was like, yo, Fernando, you remember you went with me to the hospital, or you went with me to the court.
You remember?
I remember, but I don't expect people to put the same essence or feeling to what I do. I just do it because I want to do
100%.
it. I don't like if I
You're
give
not
you
expecting
this,
a return.
Yeah, if I give you this is for you.
Yeah.
I don't want you to give me back. So that's how I move. It's the same thing like my friendship with Michael Jackson's nephew.
Yeah.
Like, we're always cool. And then like a couple of months ago, I flew to LA because I often go to the States for inspiration. And one of my dreams is to do radio out there and do music and put out music. So as a radio DJ, I came over there. He was like, you know what? I'm going to take you to Havenhurst. I was like, Havenhurst. So he brought me to the house where Michael Jackson grew up in.
Wow.
So that was priceless, man. They're like something like that is for me like it's
no, I get it.
It's an emotion.
It's if you can feel good about it, it's the right thing to do.
Yeah.
It's the right thing to do.
Yeah.
It's the right thing.
And that's how I see how people are. Like, when you tell me these stories, I already know Brett's a good person. I don't look at the artist. I just look at how some people moves.
But it teaches you, it teaches me about life, like what's important. And, we all have our downs. Who's going to be there? Who's going to, like, I don't want to be that guy who doesn't show up.
Who's your best friend?
Oh, Ross. I love him. Every day, we talk every day, every single day.
Yeah.
He motivates the shit out of me. I learn from him every day.
Yeah.
It's all about what's next, what else, what do you want to do?
Yeah.
And everyone should have somebody like that in their life.
Yeah.
Who's just, you need that energy, morning glory. You need that, you need that. I love it.
Tell him hi when you see he's on my list to interview.
Oh, we'll get him. We'll get him.
I got his whole list with like artists, like, okay, this one, that one. Because I'm like, at the essence, I'm a hip hop fan. I remember when I started playing Rick Ross, when I played Every Day I'm Hustling on the radio. I'm known out here for playing hip hop music. So he was like, what's that? I was like, what's that?
Yeah.
That's a movement.
Yeah.
And I remember when Cat Williams did his stand-up show, and he was saying like, there's something with that song. Like you could be at the library just chilling, but when that song comes up, it's a feeling, man.
But he's if you listen to him, he's such an amazing storyteller.
One of the best.
He just, he gives you gems. Every time he talks, he gives you gems. He tells you something you wouldn't expect. He tells you a story you wouldn't expect. He's got a perspective on everything.
And he's so consistent.
Oh, 100%.
He's so consistent. Like every album, literally, is a classic.
Yeah.
You know how hard that is? Like a lot of people like, they drop lukewarm projects, but he's like consistent. The voice, the delivery, see him also develop as a businessman. I'm like, whoa, Rick Ross is no joke. So,
and he's the one guy I would tell all artists, just watch. Follow his movements. You know, he from a brand, you can make anything cool. He's made, car wash cool. Like and it's the one problem with artists. And I tell them all the time, you want business, you want to be doing more. You gotta, you gotta promote. You gotta put yourself out there. They're all afraid. Because how's it going to make me look? How do I, what do I look? No, it's, you control that. You control it. But Ross is the best.
How's his ankle doing? We saw the video out here that he on the diving board. He was jumping.
I missed that.
Oh, okay.
Recently?
That was like a couple of weeks ago.
He's fine. I just saw him last week.
Oh, okay. He's fine. Okay, good.
Yeah.
So no, amazing. And like you're going back to the States. What's next? Pushing the Deacon.
Visiting markets. So by the end of the year, I'll visit in 25 countries in Europe.
Okay.
Yeah. Wow. So my goal is, again, I think I think culture, to me, culture means beyond the street. You got to be low to the ground and see what's going on and understand and learn. If I'm in my office, I'm not learning anything. I got to get out in the market myself.
And what do you feel like in the European market as being like a difference at how it's pushed and promoted and adjusted in the States? Is there a big difference?
I was asked this, and I think it's a great question. There's no difference. There's no difference. We all want, we want good things. We want luxury. We want high end. We want the feeling of a brand that means something. It doesn't matter what country you're in. You can be in Kenya, you can be in Mozambique, you can be in Korea, you can be in Latvia, and you can be here. We all want the same thing. And I think that's the mistake I think a lot of people make. They overthink markets, they overthink categories, they overthink branding. It's all the same. It's why a brand like Louis Vuitton can exist in any market in the world. We all want nice, we want quality, we want the best.
And you have to cater to what people want.
100%. But at the same time, you got to be, low to the ground and see, it's, to me, it's like, and again, I always use music as an example. It's Jermaine Dupri. He's one of the first people I ever met in hip hop in the music space. I remember Jermaine, and to this day, I believe this. Jermaine would take a record and go to a strip club and play it just to see how everyone reacted.
The best place I heard is the best place to.
Just to see how people react. And he always had somebody younger around him because he wanted to be in tune with what's going on. And if you're not down low, experience things, you don't, the great brands evolve, they evolve. And the key is you got to be aware of what's going on and evolve, constantly evolve.
Who do you keep around you to keep you motivated and evolving as a brand? Do you have young people testing out the drinks, or I don't know, like professionals you let it taste? Like, what do you?
Well, when it comes to drinking, the drinking is easy because I know what brands I want to try. I know what I want to do. I can control that. I think the other, whether it's marketing or sales or any aspect, is just getting out in the market. It's going to clubs. It's going to retail. For me, it's going to accounts. It's talking with people. It's every great idea comes, I call it bottom-up brand building. I'm not sure I'll have maybe a good idea up top, but it's coming from down low. It's embracing how a brand is being consumed. And then our job is to lean in on it.
Yeah.
So a great example is I remember interviewing Russ, and Russ told me he would put out music on SoundCloud, and he would see on SoundCloud, he had have fans in Washington, the state of Washington.
Yeah.
So what would he do? He'd go to Washington and support his fans. He saw he had fans in the Middle East. They all thought he was Middle Eastern. He's from Jersey. He'd go to the Middle East.
Yeah.
But that's being aware of your brand.
Yeah.
It's about where is it working and going and supporting them. So for me, it's coming here. I visited 2 or 3 stores this morning, and all 3 stores, the reason we went to them is they're doing great. They love the brands. So what's my role? I need to go thank them. You guys are killing it. You're crushing it. I want to thank you. I want to support you. So that to me is getting out there.
And the personal touch, the fact that you care that much.
You have to.
You will come out. Because mostly it's corporate, and then you have a representative of a representative that comes to a retailer or a bar. But you have
to.
You're like in the fields.
You have to. I think you have to.
Yeah.
It's like, because I think of it as like, it's like someone saying, I want something to go viral. How do you do that? Like, how do you make it go viral?
Yeah.
How do you know what it is? So to me, it's maybe it's old school. It's just getting out there, selling. Your product is better than everyone else's. Go sell it. Go talk to people. Get out there. Find people who believe in it. The people that I came with today, they all believe in it.
Yeah,
they all somehow they got behind it and they're supporting it. And they believe in it, and that's where it starts.
Believe in it.
That's anything you do. It's not just forget liquor. It's in anything.
Yeah, it's a mantra. You got to just figure it out. But just believe in yourself and just do it. One of the best brands, like logos ever.
Yeah. And I use Nipsey's quote to me. I interviewed Nipsey, and he said, I didn't know what it meant. And he said, Brett, what I had to do was just go pop my trunk. And I said, Nipsey, I have no idea what that means. What does it mean? He's like, I put my shit in my trunk, go down to the corner, open my trunk, and just sell my shit.
Wow.
But that's what it is. You got to be able to get dirty. You got to just go do it.
Yeah.
Just go make it happen. Just go do it. And I think that was one of the lessons for me is my mistakes, again, another great mistake, waiting for other people who said they were going to come through.
Oh,
I'm just going to wait. I'll be waiting forever.
Yeah.
Just go do it. Don't wait. Every day is Monday. Go make it happen. Get out there. It's what I tell my team every day. I live by it. And more importantly, and I tell Ross this all the time, if he tells me something good happened, I say, okay, now you got to go better. You got to go stronger.
Yeah.
Don't be happy.
Yeah. Hey, I want to thank you for your motivation. I think we should do this the next time again when I come out there.
Love it.
We should
do it in our place.
Yeah.
In New York or Atlanta.
Okay.
Yeah. Come and visit.
I've never been to Atlanta, but
come. You can set up shop. I'll get Ross to come over. You can interview him there.
I'm always to that. We'll do it over there. International. I want to thank you for your time. Keep up the good work.
Thank you.
I like the fact that you're passionate. I like that. That's the connection. Like, you're passionate about what you do. I also love what I do. So that's why
it's easy.
Yeah.
But I can feel it in you.
Yeah.
It's you can tell. You can't. The key is, and I'll do a presentation and someone will say, my gosh, it was great. And for me, it's just normal.
Yeah.
You can't fake this shit.
Yeah.
You can't fake you. You can't fake how you approach this. It's just you.
It's real.
Correct.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Thank
Keep
you.
up the good work.
Thank you.
And we'll stay in touch. We'll exchange contacts.
Done.
And say hi to the family.
Done. Thank you.
And just blessings, man.
And if you don't drink, hold that bottle. You're going to look good. There you go. There you go. You look good.
Rose, what up? We're coming. Thank you very much for your time, man. And like I said, only good vibes, man.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Everybody, support the movement, support the channel, like, subscribe. Hey, real talk right here, man. The professional. Peace.